Hi, Brian Cummins with Dynamax. I've seen a lot of videos, walkthroughs from salespeople, dealerships. The one thing you don't see a lot of are live-throughs. So we thought this was a perfect opportunity to sort of highlight some of the features of the 30FW. We're out and about for the unofficial Dynamax rally in Dandridge, Tennessee. And on the way back home, we rerouted here to Safe Harbor RV Resort in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was a great opportunity in a picturesque setting to sort of walk you through some of the things that we found were great and maybe some of the things that we would mind seeing improved. First off, on the cab, really after putting about 800-900 miles in this thing, I don't think there's a better combination of size and chassis for what we do. It's got a 6.7 liter turbo diesel. It's the Cummins ISB, plenty of power. Hypothetically speaking, if the speed limit was 70 and we were to set that at, let's say, 74, it never missed a beat. 5% grade, 6% grade. The chassis would sort of yawn, stretch a little bit and say, you know, wake me when you see something important or something challenging. Had no problems going through traffic. When we hit any type of grade, and granted we don't see huge mountains, but any type of grade, basically we saw gas trucks just peel away like they were standing still. So phenomenal chassis, ride was phenomenal, power was great, fuel economy was probably in that 10 to 11 range. I didn't track it really accurately, but I can't speak enough for the chassis, and legroom and everything else was phenomenal. Heading back again, I mean, you can see here awning. The one thing that's great about this particular floor plan is from a storage standpoint. All of the usable storage is on the campsite. Starting up here up front, this is where we basically held toolboxes, and then this storage box goes all the way through. So it's great if you got anything long, ladders, chairs, things like that. But this was a great spot to get to stuff that we needed sort of frequently. While we're here on the Truma, just one tip to note: if you pull this here, this is a great device as sort of a pressure meter. One of the things that I forgot to bring in my quick departure to get out was a pressure regulator for water pressure. Now the site that we're on right now actually has the pressure regulator built into the faucet. The last site that we were at, or the first one we were at, did not. And so as soon as we plugged into water, this started to leak right here. This is basically rated for about 60 psi, no more than that, and we saw water leaking out, and so that's a quick, easy way. The nice thing is all we had to do was fill the fresh water tank, unhook it, and then we were running on a pump, which only puts out about 40-45 psi, so it was perfect. It took care of everything we needed without this constantly leaking. If it does happen, you can always pull this, pull the screen, reset the O-ring, make sure there's no problems there, put everything back in, and then as you can see here, everything's good. Make sure the power switch is on here. Sometimes you need to turn it on and off when you lose power. Heading back to the next compartment. This was another great storage area. You have tons of storage. We had a bunch of stuff for the rally in here. We're not using it obviously anymore, so a lot of the stuff that was in here we've already offloaded. But this is about a 3/4 or 2/3 pass through up here. A great place to put your folding chairs, anything again long, easy to pull them out. But we didn't even touch what the amount of storage that is available here with the trip, and it was a week-long trip for 3 people. Fridge vent, no need to worry about that unless there's an issue. GFI, which we haven't really used yet. Outside TV, we did use last night, which was pretty nice. Put a movie on, that way you're not inside again staring at the screen. At the very least you can be outside, but for the most part we haven't really used the outside TV. It's nice. I could certainly live without it, but it's nice that it's there, especially if you ever do any tailgating. And then the rear compartment again, we used this basically for a freshwater hose, just wood, more storage stuff. There's a little bit of storage up here, but it's basically your black and gray tanks. All of your compartments have lights, which is really nice. Again, we didn't use nearly any of the storage. Tip number 2, there's a freshwater hose here on the other side. After we had completely leveled, jacks out, slide out, I go to walk the water hose over to the spigot, and of course I'm about 6 feet short. So I only had a 25-footer. Tip number 2 or 3 or whatever it may be, I would recommend another 25-footer. That way you're always prepared. Here you've got your LP quick disconnect. So again, if you ever want to do a manometer test, or if you just want to hook up a grill, again, your grill wouldn't have a regulator on it, just hook up here, it's a low pressure side. You can run the grill out here outside the awning so you don't have smoke billowing up. Coming around to the other side, again on the back, you're going to have a 10,000 pound hitch. We didn't tow any vehicles this time around, but at 32 feet, what was great about it is we didn't really need to. Getting in and out of campsites, turns with the wheelbase and the short length of this vehicle, we had tons of carrying capacity. I think we're up over 2,500. We'll check that sticker when we go around. But we didn't really need a tow vehicle. We can get this in and out of most places, and it's really, in my mind, a perfect length, sort of in between. Not so small that you can't really live here for a week or so, or full time, and not so long that it's difficult to get in and out of campsites. It made it really nice. Coming off on the utility side, again in the back, another thing I recommend, right here is your LP fill. Make sure that's on. There's a switch right there. You can turn that off when you're in ferries or bridges or anything like that. This is a remote fill here. I didn't have it on right off and then forgot, came out and turned on, and we were in good shape. This is your utility bay. Again, there is a panel here. I don't ever use it. That's for the water pump, but with the app control on the phone, I never really had to use it. I'd rather pull my phone out and do it, and you can check your tanks, your fill levels, things like that. Turn the cargo lights on, turn the water pump on. As you can see here, a blue hose will fit in this holder with the fittings. That's on the door. In there, I've got a Rhino hose, which is a 15-footer with the fittings and the caps and everything else. And that fit perfectly fine just in there. And then I had a small little tray here where I put some gloves. I had my fresh water hose sitting here along with the outside shower, which comes in handy if you've got if you've just dumped and you get any debris anywhere or anything nasty, you can spray that off out here. It does have hot and cold, which is sort of nice. Remember to have that off. Another tip, 10, whatever it is, tip 10, 12. Make sure when you do turn your water pump on that you don't accidentally have that on or tripped, because it will fill this compartment, I am told. Heading up forward again, this is basically just your generator bay here. So you'll see your hydraulics there for your jacks, and then your 8 kilowatt Onan generator. We really haven't used it a ton. We use it a little bit going down the road to run the ACs, but beyond that, we've been plugged in at most of the sites that we've been at. And then last but not least, you've got your electrical bay. Again, here you can see where that compartment on the other side comes all the way through. There's a small little storage area which really comes in handy. And then you've got your Magnum inverter back here. It's a 2800 watt inverter. Your transfer switch, your electricals. I haven't really had to dig around in there too much. 2 batteries here with size for 4. But hopefully you're not in here too often or don't need to be here too often. Up front then, of course, we've got the DEF fill tank here, and then your fuel tank's back there. We've gone 800-900 miles. I don't think we've even used a half a tank of DEF. We've gone through a couple of tanks of fuel. So without further ado, let's head inside. All right, heading inside. One of the things with a live-through, it's not a stage setting. We're not going to be seeing fake fruit and flowers sitting on the counters. We've been living in this for the past 3-4 days, whatever it may be. We did pack for 3-4 days. We have devoured about half of our food, so it fits a whole lot more, but come on in, I'll show you around. Up front, of course, cab-wise, there's plenty of space. We've got plenty of space to recline the chair back. Again, I'm 5'10" and 15-30 seconds, maybe 5'3", 5'10" and 3/4 in shoes, but I'm not even close to reclining as much as it can go. It's very comfortable. Like I said, we put the most we drove was about 6 hours with maybe a small stop for lunch, and not at any point was I feel like I was uncomfortable in my back or whatever. It was very comfortable. These are actually the stock seats for Dodge Ram. We just simply recover them in the upholstery that you choose. It's got the 8.4 Uconnect, which is a phenomenal system. I have it on my Jeep. Very intuitive, easy to use, big buttons and controls. And as you can see up front, what's sort of nice, we do the cab curtains, which is more reflective. A lot of manufacturers do a curtain across the cab, and that closes off the whole cab. So what happens is the sun goes through the windows, beats in, heats that whole cab area up. But as you can see here, I mean, sometimes it might be a nice place to come and sit where it's quiet, read a book, whatever. You can still climb into the cab. Those reflective cab curtains keep it cool in there, and it makes a huge difference, and it gives you a little more living space when you need it. Get up front, you've got the 50 by 80 inch bed, so basically a full sheet set will fit. You've got a 40 inch TV up front. Now this is a brand new 2019 model year vehicle, so there are some things you won't see, and there's a few things on this particular vehicle that we're demoing or trying out. New for 19 is going to be the JBL soundbar up front. We just felt like that's a whole lot easier when everything's sort of attached. It's not as complicated to try to figure out. You've got a Samsung Blu-ray player here that feeds that. There's a great little storage compartment right here on the entry. We used it for flashlights, pop. You could easily store small umbrellas, jackets. You can put hooks up there, whatever you may want. There is cup holder spots up here. There's a nice little counter, again, for all of my kids' stuff as he's up there, books, iPad, whatever. The other nice thing is if you want to close this off, you've got some privacy up here with the curtain. And a key thing to note, because a lot of manufacturers don't do it, is right here. We have ducts in front of the curtain. A lot of manufacturers will stop this right here and try to blow through a curtain or behind a curtain, but he's got two ducts up there, or two outlets to control the heating or the cooling. That allows him to close those off, open them up however he sees fit, so he's not dependent upon us getting up or whatever it may be. And then when you close this off, of course he's got his own private area, and and especially if we want to stay up a little bit later, sort of closes off that area at night. Up front in the overhead is where your main multiplex system is. Again, quick tip while we're here is if you're going to do a wind guard system, which we did, and I'll show you that in a little bit, make sure the antenna is on. I was trying to set the system up and then forgot that I had never turned on the wind guard system. But if you come in here, this is your main panel, and if you scroll down to number 5, which is wireless pairing, and you hit enter here, it's going to come up in pairing and process. And what you want to do is you want to basically download the app, which is called Precision Plex, or Precision Circuits, and it will basically replicate anything that's on the multiplex screen. So if I want to do anything with the lighting, if I want to turn everything off, if you want to operate your awning, if you want to look at your utilities, again, your fresh water, gray water, black, LP, you can see where your coach and your chassis batteries are currently sitting. Once you have this app, not only can you control everything here, you can control everything on the hard switches that are located throughout the coach. You can control everything off the touch panel, which we'll show you in just a little bit. But then wherever you're at around the campsite, you pull up this app, and I'm turning on lights and off and everything else. It's actually a really handy tool. But it gives you multiple ways to control what you need to control. Up front again, you'll find this, and I'll say this has been phenomenal. I didn't know how, I wouldn't say life-changing, but how important this was, is to have, in the trips that we've done, one of the big things you see are trash bags sort of hooked onto drawers or things like that. Every time I use this, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's like the 12-year-old in me or whatever. It's sort of a cool new feature that's so simple, but to have a place for a trash can, you lift up the lid, it's just so simple, it's out of the way, and when it's ready to dump, you pull it out, you dump it. It's pretty simple. Right here in your main switches, of course, your Truma control here, so you can have that on Eco or Comfort. We've had it on Comfort since we've had full utilities the whole time. But this is phenomenal. As we're looking around the kitchen area, again, you have tons of storage in here. When you open this up, again, we had bags of chips stacked across on that shelf. We had bread, chips here. You've got cups, paper towels, we had spares. We had plenty of space up there. And then from a standpoint of counter space, when you lift up this, and let's say you're just making, today we made lunch, and we had sandwiches, and so you've got, you have a toaster here, you have sandwiches laid out. If you're not really cooking anything, you have a tremendous amount of storage space. If you are going to cook, of course, then you've got a 3-burner cooktop here. You flip that up, you have the cooking space. This gives you a lot of space, eggs, omelets, whatever it may be. I never felt like I was cramped for space. The other thing that's sort of cool is if I want to use the faucet and not lose a lot of space, I was just spinning this around. And so now if I need to rinse off my hands from cracking eggs or doing whatever, it's really easy right here to pull this off, do what you got to do, and then I still have most of this storage space. And then of course when you want to wash dishes, you can pull both of the covers off, and then you have access to both areas. You can wash and rinse, which is pretty nice. Of course this we mainly have put away, but it's out this morning to show you. It's a full-size Keurig. It doesn't need to be that big. They make a smaller one, but you can plug it in, leave it here most of the time on the countertop. And again, if you're not cooking, this makes for phenomenal prep space. Up top you're going to have basically your electronics, or if you stack these do get a little bit warm, so you want some ventilation. This is again a prototype. This is an HDMI matrix. What this enables us to do is take the outputs, or the inputs, so like the Blu-ray player, a satellite receiver, we've got a Wally in here, you plug it into the back of this and it distributes it to anything that you want. So right now we have a DVD player in, and we've got that on the front TV, we've got it on the back TV, and we've got on the outside TV. So basically your front TV, here's your bedroom TV, here's your outside TV, all of them are on output, or basically on source 1, which is Blu-ray. So I can switch one of these, two of these, or all of these over to the satellite system, or the Wally. Or again, I can put one on Blu-ray and maybe, you know, again, one on satellite or whatever it may be. Each one of these is a separate source. You can have up to 4 sources. It's a 4 in, 4 out. So like last night, we had the curtain closed. My son was up here watching a DVD, and then we had this curtain closed, and we were watching basically satellite on the rear TV. And as long as you're not blaring volume, we couldn't hear his, he couldn't hear ours. There's enough privacy that you can watch 2 different items or 2 different channels or whatever you want in 2 different spaces. It made it really, really nice for us to sort of do our own thing late at night, just as everybody was preparing for bed. Again, this is a prototype. It is slated to come into the 19 model year units, but the supply was coming a little late, so it's probably going to be maybe summer of 2018. So we're sort of there. So stuff that's going to start shipping in the next month or so should have this already in it. And so you'll see it soon. It might not be on some of the first 19s you see on the dealer lot. We are running now hold open hinges that are soft close. Makes it nice. As we were driving down the road, we never had anything come open. No issues whatsoever. And again, getting in there and working on things is easy. Up here up front, again, all of our drawers are soft close drawer guides, and they're self-closing. So to pull these open, you sort of have to, you see if you take a turn and there's something heavy in there, they're not going to open. You sort of have to pull and hold. And again, plenty of space with the drawers. We had utensils and paper plates and stuff like that. You get a nice big drawer below. We put pots, pans, things like that. Standard, you're going to get a 16 cubic foot residential fridge. Now, for this vehicle, we thought, you know, if we want to test out the boondocking availability or dry camping availability, we went the 9 cube RV fridge. So your gas absorption fridge. This is Dynamax. What I like about this one is it's got a nice temperature meter here. We just loaded it up with some stuff, so it's 43, but it's been hitting right around 37 degrees, 36, and you can adjust that temperature. Again, I thought 9 cube might be a little small if we were going to go for a week, but it actually turned out really nice. It's got an ice maker built in. We put some pizzas in here, and they fit on the lower shelf. We have been making ice. That's been working pretty good. We've got up here, we didn't really use all of this space hardly at all, but you've obviously got extra space here. And then down in the fridge, of course, you've got lots of space. This is a divider that doubles as a hold open, so when you store it, you've got plenty of space here. What I thought was really nice on this fridge is these little plastic clips, these wire clips. You can have these down when you're loading, and then you can flip these up and they lock into place. And so if you have like just a single row back there, these also slide. So for instance, these up here, these clips will slide back, and you can sort of hold everything into place so it's not bouncing around. And also when they're clipped up, it keeps things from sliding out. So when you do open the fridge, if things have shifted, they're not falling out. So that was a nice little feature that I wasn't really expecting, and frankly didn't know how it worked when I first started using it. Another invaluable, I mean, this has been, while good, I've seen some of the wire slide out pantries, but we sort of sized these. When I instructed her, we talked to the engineers. I wanted them to size it for a cereal box or a pasta or something like that. And as you can see here, it's almost perfectly sized for a cereal box. And what's great about these drawers, unlike the wire guides are only about this tall. These drawers give you a lot of depth. So over 800 miles over some pretty bad roads, nothing's fallen, shifted out of here at all. It keeps everything nice, and unlike the full shelf that has a lot of weight, each one of these can store a decent amount of weight. And if you need to get something in specifically, you can open each one. Again, these are soft close, self-latching, no plastic clips to break. And here you've got pasta, we've got jars, we've got applesauce, we've got a little bit of everything. And again, we've probably spent, I think, 3 or 4 days already, so a lot of the food we've been eating, breakfast, lunch, and dinner in here. We have yet to eat out one time. And we have plenty of space. This is phenomenal. I can't tell you how nice this is to have. And again, when you want something, it's very easy to find it. You're not reaching way into the back. And this top one we sort of leave open, just so you can do larger stuff. This, we were putting some bulk items in, and then some of the sticks for s'mores gives you some length in there. Anything we could do paper towels. It's just sort of a flex space. You can do what you want. Again, these were phenomenal. This whole space has been great. For only being a 32-foot coach, you've got plenty of kitchen counter space, plenty of storage space. It's been phenomenal. We haven't even touched on the other side, which up here you're going to have, this one's equipped with solar, which again we've been plugged in, so we haven't had to do a whole lot. You've got your Magnum inverter controls here, your leveling system here, which was great. You've got your thermostat for the front AC, and then you've got a thermostat back there for the rear AC. And another note to point out, at the first site that we were at, they had full hookups. So you had water, you had sewer, you had cable. Here's your booster switch for your TV antenna. This is boosted, which means you're going to be boosting your over-the-air antenna. A lot of people say, hey, I'm plugged into the campsite, I can't pull the cable channels. Well, a lot of times it's because this is on. You need to make sure that is off to get the satellite cable or the cable from the campsite. Once that's off, you go to your menu on your TV and you go to cable and you hit auto program, and it'll pull in all those channels that are available. We did test that, it worked out great. And then if you want to pick up over-the-air channels, then you want to push on this. That boosts the over-the-air channels, and then that allows you to turn it to air, auto program, and it'll pull in all of your over-the-air channels. I think the first night we were in, wherever we were at, we got one channel, and it was a religious channel of some sort, local. So anyway, that's another tip. If you're having issues programming those, make sure this is either on or off, depending on what you're looking for. Again, there's USB outlets everywhere. There's USB outlets here in the kitchen. Here for up front, you've got 3, I think, in the cockpit. You've got some here by your recliners, and we've got some back in the dinette area. So anytime you want to plug anything in, or you have multiple people plugging in, you have no shortage. These recliners were an option we came out with about a year or so ago. It's newer on the 5 Series, but if you don't need the sleeping space of the sofa, I highly recommend this. They're great, comfortable seats when you're driving down the road. They have cup holders, and of course, if you want to do anything here, you've got this little grommet. We've got tables that come with it. These tables just slide into the grommet there, and then you can use this for a snack or a beverage or laptop or whatever. We haven't really been using them because most of the time I have a laptop, or most of the time, the only time I've really sat in these when I'm not by the campsite has basically been to come back, kick back, and actually took a little nap here after a day of swimming. So very functional, very comfortable. Again, up here, you've got more storage. We were using these for some bulk items, shoes, things here and there. Again, all hold open drawer or doors, and very deep storage here, very functional. We didn't even probably use 1/3 of what was available to us. Heading back to the dinette area, again, you've got a very nice booth in the seat 4. If you want more room, you can pull these out. If you want to kick back and lean against those cushions, you can. It's a dream dinette, so you can flip the lever, push it down, make it into a bed. We haven't really needed to do that again with 3 of us. It's really a great size for 3. 4 you could probably make do as well, but it's really perfect sizing for 2, 3, 4 people. Any more than that, it gets a little crowded in here in my mind, but bigger the better. Then you've also got pull-out drawers. So we were using this storage for my son's clothes. He used that here. And then for bigger pots and pans, we were putting those here. Some of the big stuff that wouldn't fit in a drawer, or just bulky stuff that we didn't use very often was going in here. That was very nice as well. Here's your main touch panel. Again, if you go up here, you hit that to unlock. This is all available on the phone as well. All your lighting controls are here. All of your levels here. You've got the slide out control. You've got the awning control here, and there you can go in or out. Just one more tip. If you push and hold this for a lengthy period of time, it goes into manual mode. So when you let go, it will stop where you tell it to. If you just push and hold it for a second, I think it's 1 second really, and let go, it goes into auto mode, so it will automatically go all the way out and it will stop where it needs to stop. And then here you've got your gen settings, you've got the mode, AGF settings, current status right now, gen time's only 2 hours, we've been plugged in everywhere. Setup and how you want to do quiet time setup, the start voltage, max runtime in hours. There's a test setting here so you can test the AGS. A lot of different things here. So far we've only really used the manual operation, so when you come into this mode setting, if you don't want to mess with any of these, just go to manual operation, and then you'll want to hit, you can hit auto start, and then it will actually prime and then start the gen for you. But most of the time I haven't even touched this panel, I've been using it off the app control. One other quick note too, while we're talking about that, back here in the light settings, one of the things, some of these light circuits are dimmable. So right here, the bedroom ceiling lights, if you push and hold this button, these lights will dim down. And then if you turn them off, and you turn them back on, they'll be at the same dim level that you had them set to. Or you can push and hold again, and they'll go back up to full brightness again. You turn them off, they'll dim off, turn them back on, they'll dim to full brightness again. The master switch works the same way. If you push and hold, it will turn all of your lights off. If you push and hold, it will turn all of your lights on. If you just tap it off or on, it will turn the lights on or off that you had on or off at the same dim level, at the same. So if I turn this light off and then I go hit the master switch, everything will go off, and if I hit the master switch again, everything will come on but these lights. It basically remembers the setting that you had. So again, unlike an accordion here, we couldn't really fit the door. There's just not enough space to cover this whole gap. But this curtain is really effective when you pull it, and it closes everything off. You have both curtains closed, you have a lot of privacy. And unlike an accordion that sort of gets in the way as you're maneuvering around, this tucks all the way back out of the way so that you can't even see it. You don't even know that it's there. So it gives you a very open floor plan. Coming back in the bedroom, again, when the slide comes in, most people don't know how this works, but this mattress just hinges up, and then the slide out comes in. And this is a new mattress for 19. We basically added a little more memory foam into it. It's a white circular knit, so that means it's 4 directions, so it really takes advantage of the memory foam that's in it. And it is, again, hinged there, and we also made a change on how the hinge is done to keep it a little tighter there. In the back area, you do have a small little countertop there. The one thing I would do if this were mine is I'm going to add a bar across there. A lot of times I'll have water. I always sleep with water by my bedside, and then I forget about it. So we go take it off and it always falls over. So I would put a little rod there, or I could talk to the engineers about putting a net or something there. The other thing I would do is add one over here. This is always my side, my wife's side, and so I'd add a net there so she can have water and maybe a cell phone or something like that charging. I always want a cell phone, water bottle by my side. In the back, again, plenty of storage. You've got a full closet rod. If you don't hang your clothes up, you can always hang one of those little cubbies that you see with the little bins in them, and you can fold your clothes and put them in. Plenty of storage below. And I thought this was a great touch here. They put lighting in, so the aisle lighting. So when you open these drawers, it may get a little dark back here, but with this lighting under here, it lights the drawer space so you can easily see what you have. It's just one of those things. I'd love to claim I thought of it. I didn't. One of the engineers put that in, but it is a really nice touch to be able to see what's going on back there. And then let's head into the bathroom. This is another great feature, and I don't know that I would change much of anything. When you head in here, the door opens in, so it's not in the way. Most of the time people will do a glass shower door here, and we used to do the same thing. It was a flat shower door. They rattle a lot, and they're also straight. What's really nice about this is while I'm down here in the bath space, if I'm getting dressed or whatever it may be, I have plenty of room. When I'm up in the shower space, this curved rod gives you a lot more shoulder room. So what would be a fairly tight shower really doesn't feel like it. It actually is very roomy with this. You don't have that cold glass when you touch it. Actually, I haven't run into this at all. It's easy to clean, it's easy to open and close, it's very lightweight, so you get more CCC, you're not wasting it on the glass shower door. We also do an oxygenic shower head in everything that we build. I can't recommend this enough. Again, when you have full pressure, it really doesn't matter. This works, any shower head works. Where this shines is when you're on pump. When you're only getting 45 PSI, and this is a low flow fixture designed for that. It really feels like a lot more water. We did tests side by side out in the field using a regular 2 gallon per minute flow shower head, and then we tested it with the oxygenics, and everybody else says hands down when you have low flow, the oxygenic feels like double the water. So I can't recommend that enough, and we do that standard across every product we build. Another thing that was not my idea but was a phenomenal idea, I think, was this obscure glass in the bathroom. When you come in here in the morning and everything's dark and dim throughout the coach, you first get up, there's so much natural light in here, you don't need to turn a light on. It just feels really nice when you come in, it makes everything feel more spacious. We do max air fans basically in all locations, and I can tell you, this is a phenomenal system too. This has a built-in cover over it, so when it goes up, you can have this open in the rain. This is remote controlled, so you hit the power button. Most people have the switches up here, and this is on high power, and if I had more hair, you would see it almost getting pulled up. There's a great draft and breeze coming through here, so when you come in here, I recommend highly you throw this thing on high, whether you're taking a shower or whatever. It takes out any of the smell, humidity, whatever it may be, and you can do that while it's raining. Maybe you're not running the AC, you just want some cool air. This thing works phenomenal. It's also got a temperature setting on here, so you can adjust it to open or come on for temperature. I haven't really done anything except for 100% on, 100% off. And we typically ship these loose. I mounted it just because to get it out of the way and it wasn't moving, but you're welcome to put it wherever you want. And then again, I can't say enough about this obscure window. We have yet to use the blind here. It does have one, but we haven't used it. And again, while we're here, we use basically roller gut blinds, blackout roller shades for everything. It's just a pull down. It really does darken everything at night or just to keep things private. In the morning, I got up this morning, I know, and it felt dark and cold because the AC was rocking, the shades were down, and then I opened the door and I felt like a mole. It was super bright, it was 90 degrees out, and I had no idea because it was so dark and cool in the coach. Again, you can open that up. This window, of course, is frameless. Another nice feature of the frameless windows is that you can open these while it's raining and you don't have to worry about water getting in. So this window was phenomenal. It wasn't my idea, but great idea. Then again, here in the space, if we can swap. Closing this door, what's great about this shower, it feels a weird, you have so much room in here. So you can, most showers, you're like this when you get out. You can actually get out, dry off, and you can come over here and you have plenty of room to get dressed. So I've been setting my clothes here in the morning, and then when I get out of the shower, basically I just grab my clothes, I'm getting dressed, you brush your teeth. You've got plenty of space here in this overhead medicine cabinet. As you can see, we've loaded it up. In addition to what's here, down here you've got more storage space. You've got netting where we've been putting towels. This counter space is really nice because I'll pull my stuff out of here, set everything up, and as I shave, brush my teeth, deodorant, whatever it may be, everything's sort of lined up. Then when I'm done, I pile it all back up and I throw it in here so it's out of the way. But lots of space, and the sink is good size. You've got an outlet over here, and the only thing that I've been recommended is we may look at adding an outlet here too, because that way you can have something here, maybe his and her toothbrush. But I think an outlet, if we can make that work, would be great there.